You're now listening to Mooncakes.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. Episode 5. Yeah.
We're doing it.
We are doing
I know I keep on saying
it
it every episode, but we're doing it.
We're doing it, yeah. Okay, well, so first of everything, the first vice president or elected president is a woman of color, Kamala Harris. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, just hearing like how historic that is and everything. Just first time. I like the idea of like first time. So I just wanted to ask you, like, I know like you've been through a lot and everything, and I just had some questions, like, you know, if you're comfortable with answering it. But,
yeah,
like,
go for it.
Like,
we're trying to be transparent here.
Yeah. So I know you worked as a dancer, as an exotic dancer, and I know you did camming and things like that. But when was like was there? I don't want to say like the first time, but I mean, when was the first moment when you realized like,
fuck this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
So many times. There's so many times where I was like, fuck this shit. You know? So, dancing, I've danced in 3 different states, California, Hawaii, and Nevada. And, in Nevada, it's more cutthroat. I would have to say Hawaii's like the most fun you can have while as a dancer. Everyone's more chill and stuff. Yeah, it's like more like, it's weird, family oriented to say.
This is
in Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
So it's more fun. You know, it's aloha. Even in the strip clubs, it's aloha, you know? Like, of course, there's a lot of downs and ups and downs and stuff, but it was chill. It was fun, you know? Like, everyone kind of knew each other, and it was more chill, relaxed. And then when you go to Nevada, to Las Vegas, it's way more cutthroat. Like, all the big clubs like Spearmint, Rhino, Sapphire, you got all these fucking bitches in one place at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's bitch central right there.
Yes.
What else are you gonna expect? Like, I don't know why I was so like vulnerable, and I'm like, it's gonna be so much fun. You know? Like, so anyway, there's so many times throughout my career as a dancer that I wanted to say fuck this, you know, like, but I think it was when a guy slapped my ass when I was just walking the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, if I said it was okay, yeah, but I was also asking for it because I'm like barely like clothed in heels, walking the floor. Like, what am I gonna expect? These assholes. But at the same time, like, still, this is a gentleman's club. You should act like a gentleman. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, I was just so sick of the club. Like, and I would come home, like, drink and drive so much. It's crazy that I'm alive.
Yeah.
There's so many times I blacked out behind the wheel. Because you make money when you sell them large quantities or like expensive bottles.
Oh.
So you're like, oh, you got one client, you guys, you know, get a bottle.
It's all about
the Skybox. Yeah. And
bottles,
then you have to make another sale. You know what I mean? So it's like drinking, and I was just kind of like tired of the scene. It started to slow down too. Yeah. Like, economically, I probably picked one of the worst times to be a dancer. Like, I went to Hawaii, there was a recession hit. Like 2008 or something like that. And it was so good when I got there, and then we went, like, there was no tourists or anything. So we made the jump to Nevada.
Okay.
But that's like, it's more cutthroat.
Yeah. Do you remember like the first time you like went in the strip club? Like, your first time? Just,
oh
like,
my God, I have such a funny story.
How did you? When you entered, well, before you even entered, did you like did you have to apply and just be like, hey, dance for them?
So
Like,
I
how
tried
did
to
you-
scam the internet for information,
Uh-huh.
and there was barely any information at the time
Yeah.
online. Now you can go to YouTube and there's like a whole channel, like channels of how to become a stripper, how
Okay,
to become
yeah.
a sugar baby, or like
Mm.
a companion, or they teach you everything like step by step, which is so crazy to me. Which is great too, because it kind of gives you, before you get into it, you're like, hey, I'm gonna have to deal with shit,
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know what I was going. I researched some different clubs around Garden Grove because I was living in Garden Grove.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Anaheim, and it was all nude. It wasn't just topless, it was all nude.
Ooh.
So that was another thing, but
Mhm.
it was so I got my pair of shoes 6 inches. Like, have you've seen the stripper heels, right?
Yes.
They're different than just regular heels. They're platform and like 6-8 inches.
Oh my gosh, how do you walk in them?
You're gonna feel like Bambi.
like,
I
Oh,
got
gosh.
a pair of stripper shoes from a nearby exotic store, shop,
Mhm.
supply. I got them, and I was like, holy shit, how do you wear this?
Yeah.
This is insane. Like, of course I can't go audition if I can't even walk in these things.
Mm.
So I practiced for like a week or something
Oh, wow.
before I was like, you know what? I had a friend at the time, her.
Mm-hmm.
Age number 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we went together, and we thought we went to the doorman, and we're like, hey, we're interested in working here. And the doorman's like, this big guy, and he's like, just wait here. And then he goes up and he tries to look all like important, and then he comes down. There was a guy named Kino. He was really nice. He was like an Islander guy, really welcoming and stuff. Islander, yeah. He
Uh-huh.
was the manager of the club, and
Okay.
he's like
Are we in
Samoan.
Hawaii at this
No,
point?
no.
Oh,
We're in
still
Anaheim.
in Anaheim. Okay.
Yeah, but like
Awesome.
usually Islanders, they're way more fun and friendlier.
Mm-hmm.
Just naturally they are. But don't get them pissed. Don't piss them off. Islanders, oh my god. Anyway, so I met he was like, okay, you want to audition? So he's like, I forgot what he said, just like change and come to my office. And then he like makes you walk, and he just like checks you out in your outfit and stuff
Okay.
in his office, like see if you can work it.
Yes.
And we got the pass, and then he was like, okay, well, we thought we were gonna come back work like maybe next week or something. He's like, you want to work tonight? I was like, what?
What?
Like, you want me to work today? Like tonight? He's like, it would be good if you could. And I was like, okay.
They wasn't expecting it to be so quick.
And guess what? I went on stage that night.
That night, after learning how to walk in heels, and those kind of heels for 1 week, you go audition or go interview, and then he's like, tonight. So you and your friend both are in. So you guys are. I'm assuming you guys arrived together.
Yeah, we arrived together, and we're like, oh shit, we're working tonight. Okay, fuck. We're young, like 19, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, let's just fucking get that money. Because I was living in my father-in-law's like tin roof patio, and every time it rains, everything gets wet.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, all your shit is like cold, and it's raining, and like you can't stop the flooding, and it was just like really tough. So I'm like, get that money.
That's what your mentality at that point.
Yeah.
When it's raining and everything, and you just feel like, okay, like where can I make like good amount of money, and, hopefully in short amount of time.
Well, I did try. You guys are like, you didn't try hard enough. Yes, I did. I got another retail job, trying to think that they might supplement my first job. So I had like 2 or 3 jobs, and it wasn't paying shit. So I need to do something. You know what I mean? Like, I was getting sick all the time in that patio. So I was like, it's do or die right now. So I got him staying. And I met this one nice stripper. You're always gonna meet like nice strippers, and like the girls that want you to die. Like you're gonna get those like spectrums.
Yeah.
Like chill chicks, and then you got like, oh god. So anyway, like you go up on stage by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, like.
Did you pick your song, or someone picked the song for you?
No, you pick it. You pick it. You pick your name. And then they just like, they're like, oh, you're gonna go up in like 3 songs. They'll call you. They're like, be on cue, or something like. They'll call your name, and like, yeah, you just go up there.
What
and
was
you
your
just fucking
song?
do it. I don't know what it was,
Okay.
to be honest. Oh, I think it was like one of those.
It gotta be R&B.
Yeah, it was like a hip hop R&B track.
Okay, it's gotta be.
Yeah, and I picked a good one because everyone was happy. You know, like they're like, "Oh, this is a good time," you know, like throwing money and stuff. But I'm just glad I didn't fall.
Oh, nice.
Which was really nice. My heart was pounding, and it was
I
like
bet.
it was like a really weird feeling. Like I almost felt like it wasn't a big deal for me to get on stage with heels and take off all my clothes.
Was it kind of? Did you feel like out of body, or were you present, or were you like checked out, or were you really like felt like you're in the moment?
It was kind of like an out of body because so much adrenaline is rushing, and you're like, oh, don't trip, you know, look sexy, you know, like you can kind of see yourself in the mirror too and stuff like that. And it was kind of like euphoric too because, you know, like you're a girl, you know, like 19, 20, you want to look sexy, you know what I mean? Like all these guys are like throwing cash on you. Like it's a feeling. Like there's reasons why strippers keep on going back to it is because they want that feeling. But that I got over that pretty quick. Like different stages, different clients that come and see you, different variations of them and stuff. But like, yeah, I think I got every time someone like sat down and talked to me, they're just like, why are you here? Because I'm like, I do try to show that sexy personification, but at the same time, I was just being funny all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I was making them laugh and stuff, and they're just like, girl, I can hang out with you outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you just come out for dinner or something like that, you know? Like, we can just chill, and I can pay you and stuff like that. So I got kind of sick of it because I'm like, oh, I can get paid for just hanging out and, like, not having to go dance all day and all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure you're, like, dancing all day, all night. Like, you get, like, blisters and, like...
You just get tired. Bruises, for sure. Like, especially different strip clubs have different types. Like, when you go to Hawaii, it's floor work.
Okay.
So you have your own, like, cushion and your own little space on the stage, and you like just dance for your client in front. But it's so weird. It's bizarre. Like, I went to one strip club that was trying to recruit me, and it was like it had like a Vietnamese name, and you go in there and it felt like it was Vietnam. You know what I mean? You're like, I got just transported to Vietnam or something. I'd never even been there, but like it just, and like the owner, he was like this Vietnamese guy, and he had this like, he always had like a silverish like button up vest. Like, no shirt underneath.
What a distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, what a distinguished.
Is it, I mean, you being at that time like the new girl, is there some, does it get political in there? Like, there's a hierarchy. There's
definitely a hierarchy.
Because you better respect my, my clients, or this is my guy, or I claim him, or
like don't go around. Don't come near me if I'm with some. Like, they'll make it known. Got it. Yeah, there's some cool chicks, and there's some like don't. Yeah, I met a lot of hilarious women in the strip club. Hilarious. And then there are some in Hawaii. They were so old that it just made you contemplate. I think that's also, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Because that could be like me.
I mean, how old was the oldest stripper that you met?
Probably like 60 something. Like grandma, like she'll talk about her grandbabies and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so funny seeing them because they just look so out of place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just such a trip. You go in there and you're like, lady is like a white grandma. And she's got like a cowboy. This is her sexy outfit, like a metallic cowboy hat and metallic like tassels on her boots.
Oh, grandmama.
Yeah, grandmama. But she was funny. Everyone liked her, and they kept her around because she was funny, entertaining.
Yeah.
There's this one other lady, like, she was so skinny, but she just kept on. She's like so obsessed with getting big boobs. And her boobs would just like sag.
Oh.
Like you see the big balls. And they're just like saggy. You see the like old skin like saggy.
just hold it on.
Just holding on these saline bags.
Oh, swishing around.
And it's so funny because I would sit around, like take breaks, and the girls would go outside and have cigarettes, and I don't know, I think I would be like high on shrooms or something.
Oh, you're taking shrooms?
Yeah.
While stripping?
Yeah.
How is that? What is like? I feel like
I think I've done like a lot of different drugs. I've done E many times.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. But shrooms.
Yeah, I did shrooms. Like I met this one girl named Dahlia, and she was like from LA, and she screamed LA. Mm-hmm. You know, when you look at her, she had like short dyed hair and like she looked like she was from LA. Okay. And she was like, "Hey, like, do you want shrooms, girl? Here you go." And like she gave me.
Here you go. Okay.
I was like, okay, might as well. Like,
might as well.
Fuck it. Fuck it, If I didn't train for that ahead of time, you would lose your shit. But because I'm like used to being in weird predicaments while super high, that I've kind of
mentally prepared for it.
Yeah, mentally prepared for it and stuff.
That's so fascinating.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But I think I leapt from from stripping because I didn't want to have any contact with anybody. Even though like going out, just having dinner and stuff, I just didn't. I don't know. It just felt kind of, for some people it's fine. Like that's the life they choose. But for me, I think it was the wrong route because it was keeping me from going down that tough path to create. You know what I mean? It didn't sit right with me. Yeah. And I'm not telling anyone not to get out of, camming or stripping or, any other kind of, profession like that. But it wasn't right for me because I needed to make music.
I just imagine it. I can only imagine it being really, not just mentally, but like emotionally and mentally draining.
Yes.
To the point where how can you be creative?
Because you can't.
Because being creative draws from your mental state and from your psychological, emotional state. And if you're depleted from that, you're just...
That's why I couldn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I couldn't. I thought I was such a genius, and I was like, oh, I can dance at night and then work on music during the day, and I can work like maybe the weekend and maybe a couple days during the week, and then the rest of the week I can work on music. And it does not work like that. What you want to do is like, because you're so mentally drained, you just want to get fucked up. Yeah. And we see the cycle all the time. Is that girls, they make a lot of money from stripping, camming, or being a companion. But where do they blow all their money is things. Yeah. Buying them things,
just to make just to feel good, just to feel like just that instant gratification, and just to off balance the toll it takes to dance and to cam and to do all that.
Yeah. And I'm too independent. That was my problem. I was never submissive enough. Of course there's guys that are just like, they want you, but there was always a degree. That person that's where that's your sugar daddy or whatever. And to a degree, you always have to not answer to them, but you always have to be kind of careful about because you want them to come back. Yeah. So that was not fitting for my personality. There's a lot of successful sugar babies out there, and they enjoy it, I guess. That's what their life, they chose. But for me, I'm just like, fuck no. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm too independent. No, I don't have to do that, which, everyone that I met, majority of them they respect it. They're like, if you don't want to do something, you don't do it, know? but it was still, I didn't want to have to text them back if I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't text them back when they message you, they'll freak out. Because you're their obsession.
And you're trying to keep that fantasy of just that you desire them.
Yeah, but at the same time, give me my space. But still give me money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gosh,
so it's a dance.
It is what a dance. That is a very complicated dance.
Yeah, and also I was kind of sick of the lifestyle. Like, I'll give you one example for being like a companion to somebody. I was coming back from another gig, I think maybe Germany or something. And then I had to get on a flight right away to Nevada, to Vegas, because I had another person that I had to meet.
Oh, wow.
And it was a friend's client, or you know, so I need to be like on top of my game. So what I was doing, I was wearing a corset at the time, like to train my waist and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And like all the, even though it's like first class, on domestic, it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going from flight to flight.
Planes are never gonna be completely comfortable.
Unless it's Singapore. Singapore got the beds, which is
if there's a bed and deluxe, okay.
Yeah.
But most first class, just your regular airplane is just it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've only had like a couple like nice flights. That was like Singapore Airline, business class. That was really nice, and I think another European, but that was nice. But most domestic flights are like rigid chairs. You can't even like scoot your chair back a little bit. Lean it backward. So anyway, I was wearing a corset, and I wasn't eating well because of my lifestyle. I was drinking a lot, which puts a lot of toxins in your muscles.
Yeah.
And something just went out on my back. Like something just like popped.
Ooh.
Or something, or like something, I don't remember exactly, but I felt something was wrong.
Oh no.
And I found out that I had sciatica.
Oh.
Sciatica, have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that, but what is it?
So it hits a certain nerve in your like hip, in your leg, in your lower back, and your leg just goes numb. You can't.
Oh no.
Like I'm still recovering from it.
Oh my
That's why I
gosh.
do like yoga. I do a lot of stretching.
wow.
I do a lot of strength work, because you'll lose. First, it'll be painful, severe pain, like shooting up your leg through your hip bone, through your back. It's so disabling, and then you lose all feeling.
So when that happened,
I was on my way to another.
So what did
meeting.
you do? You just
so much. Okay, I felt so much pain at the time, and I called my friend because I was staying at her house, and I called her, and her sister were like up in Europe or something, and I was like, dude, do you have any like crazy like Vicodin, whatever, Percocet, whatever, like the heaviest, painkillers you can give me right now, because I am dying, like. They were laughing because they thought I was making it up or something.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And basically, how I was getting because her place is big.
Yeah.
To get to her bathroom, like it's a walk. I had to crawl on the ground with my elbows like this. I was like, because it was so much pain. And then I found a bunch of Coke, and I just did all the Coke, and I felt better.
Oh. Okay.
Like, seriously, Coke saved my ass this time.
Oh.
Like, I was taking pills and stuff. Nothing was working. And I just, something. Just, like,
the pain.
And it was, like, an hour before the meeting. And I have to get dressed and heels and a dress. And, like, this is when I really respect, like, performers. When... no matter what is happening to their body or life, they just get up and the show must go on. And this one, I had to meet someone in like one of those like Mandalay Bay or Venetian, the big one.
Okay.
So everything's a long walk.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh. But you made it.
I made it.
And
I made it. And I didn't, like, I covered everything up.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, I'm feeling so much pain. Oh, my foot is numb. Like, none of that. I didn't have to show any of that. So, like, that was just one of the crazy stories I have to deal with. It's so, the lifestyle is so tiring. You're like, holy shit, like 2-3 years went by, or like 1-2 years went by, and you're like, what happened to it?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. So you're 19 when, or 18 or 19 or 20 when you first,
which one for dancing?
When you first just entered this.
Yeah, 19, 20 for dancing, and then I did that for like 5 years. 5 years, and then I got into camming, and I got in that for 5 years.
Okay.
And then I started doing companionship about, like, I think 3 years.
Okay.
3 or 2 years.
That kind of overlap a little bit, right? Camming with that. Okay.
But I just totally got I was over how, like, the clients would over obsess. Sometimes you get like those over obsessed ones.
Of course, yeah.
And it's just like, you know that Rumpelstiltskin character?
Yes.
Like, I would have like people like that. Just like, they just want to stick around.
Take your energy.
You're mine.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, like, it was like to the point where that. So I was just like, you know what? My life is going to be very tough after this. It's going to be a different kind of challenge.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do this. I'm way too independent for this, okay?
Yeah.
Like, everything in my body is telling me that this is the wrong direction for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but for me,
was it a
wrong.
clean break, or was it like a slow break, like
no
breaking away, or was it a clean break?
Clean break. You know me. I'm like super radical.
That's
like
true.
I'll
Once you make a decision,
when I make a decision, I'm just like
done.
Yeah. So
and
that's what happened.
the whole time you have been with your boyfriend at the time, Joseph, and now husband, and he stuck with you through this whole thing.
Yeah.
Was there
really
a moment
tough.
when you told him, like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore?
He's been asking me not to do it from the beginning, like the stripping, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he didn't grow up in a family or an environment where they taught you how to succeed in life. You know what I mean? It was just like eat, sleep, and you're alive another day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, and also his record was really bad. So even though he tried to apply for a lot of different jobs, they wouldn't take him.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, we were in a difficult spot. And then on top of that, we had to owe like $15,000 in his medical expenses.
Oh,
Remember? Because he
yeah.
got stabbed when I moved into the house, like a
yes.
week after.
Yes.
So there's
A lot of pressure,
a lot
financial
of
pressure. Yeah.
You know?
So in the moment when you did decide to, like, step away from camming, escorting, stripping, all this stuff, and you finally told Joseph, like, do you remember that moment when you told him, or was it kind of, was it a conversation, or was it just like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore, just so you know? Like, what? Or
we've had many discussions
Okay.
about, like, because he wanted me to stop, but I was like, how do I live? How do we live? You know what I mean? Like, we got to take care of my mom now. Now we have this mortgage payment, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, and the money's draining, and like, you just, and then you kind of go through, I went through depression again at that point, because it was just like, there was no end to it.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Like, I can't just go and get a regular job. They're gonna be like, sir, what did you do for the last, like, 13 years of your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
Hey, Mom.
that's cool. Hi, Mrs. Yan.
What's up, Mom?
Ground turkey.
Yeah, it's in the fridge. Yeah? Okay. By the way, if you guys don't know, in this episode, if you haven't listened to our other episodes, I live at home with my parents, so
And so do I.
that was my mom, and yeah, Liz, you know, she's taking care of her mom, and she lives with her mom, so her mom lives with her, so yeah, so that was my mom.
It happens. That happens with Asian parents, right?
Yes.
Like, I feel like sometimes when you you're trying to explain something to them, and they pretend like they understand what you're saying,
Yes.
and they go, I know what you're saying.
And it's just silence. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear what my mom said, but it was just like felt like a one-way conversation, and it's just like a silence, and she just walked away.
She just wanted to come and say, Debbie, ground turkey.
And you're like, I knew what it was, and I was like, all right, like she wants to know where the ground turkey is. And anyway, so I love my mom, by the way. She's great.
She's great. She's so awesome.
But anyways, but back to but it just sounds like you just had quite a journey just going through all that and everything. But
it's a hard transition. Any stripper, because you go from a life of just getting so much money, you know, like, and you go to a point where you're just like, shit, you don't get paid nothing. It's like a huge reality check. And you know, it's really humbled me, because I think if I kept on going that route, I would have become a bitch. Like, I'm a bitch to a degree, but like I think I would be like so superficial and like super bitchy, and like I feel very humbled, and I'm just like, shit, this is what most people in the United States go through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, I hear my mom again.
No problem.
It's in the...
We can take a break.
We will. Just give us a moment. I mean, I might have to pause this for a moment.
Yeah, no problem. Let's do it.
Okay.
That's no problem. People take breaks all the time.
Okay. Should I just
sometimes
stop
people
this?
have to take a shit so bad. They're like, I gotta go.
All right.
We're back.
We're back.
Debbie just needs to go get a ground turkey for
her
mom.
So Liz and Debbie are back. All right.
This
yeah,
is so
just
real.
had to. This is what happens when you live home with your parents. You know. They
don't go by your time.
They don't. But again, I love her, and we found the ground turkey for my mom. So you know, life can continue. Everything is good. Crisis averted. Turkey has been found, you guys. Everything's good.
Like just waiting for you outside. Like she didn't say anything. She just waited for you outside. Yeah. Like she went away and then she came back, and
I can, because with these I can I have like more sensitive hearing.
Yeah.
So I can hear from far away, just like Debbie, I can't find the ground turkey. Oh my god, damn it, Mom. Okay.
Oh my God.
Anyways, so we just went over your first with a lot of stuff.
A lot of funny stories I want to share like throughout the podcast.
Yes.
But like,
yes,
those are the reasons why I like got out of the reason. You know, I knew that if I want to create, there's no creativity unless you go through the pain of doing it. Like, not all creation is where like you have a wealthy family and they pay for everything. You know, a lot of artists, they suffered. They're real people. They went through real pain.
Yeah. It's the pain and suffering though that makes their art, what they create, even more human, and even something the more you can connect with.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think it just makes it that much more beautiful when you're able to create again, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is how it feels to create, and it just feels, you feel back into your element.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Nice.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I'm like still struggling at this point, but no, I mean, I'm so thankful for everything I have, and you gotta just make the most out of it. And whatever hardships you're going through, it makes you unique. You know what I mean? Like, some people even pay for hardship.
Yeah.
You know, like those rich ass people, they're like, I'm gonna go to the Amazon, I'm gonna suffer for like 3 months.
Yes.
And I'm paying for that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's just like, you just take what you have and you just run with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just survive. You're trying to survive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you not just want to survive, you also want to live. You know, live your life too. So it's just
How did you feel when you found out the, new elected president, vice president was like a sure thing?
A sure thing.
Did you feel relieved?
I felt so relieved. I was stressed out. I was stressed the fuck out for like the last week.
Yeah.
And until Saturday. When even the moment when it was looking good for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, like I was still nervous. I was still like, anything can happen, because in 2016 with Hillary, like Even though she won the popular vote, she lost electoral votes.
That was so crazy.
And that was so sad. And so you just didn't want to jinx it. You're just like, I don't want to say anything.
I know.
Until he says something, until the news outlets say something. And finally when they did, I was like, I just was so happy. Like, I was like teared up. I was on TikTok. I was like watching all the videos of people celebrating in the streets.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that we came out of it, because it's been really rough the past 4 years.
Very divided.
More
divided than usual.
Ever.
You know what I mean? Like, it was very odd. Like, I kind of saw, like, in history you learn about like these certain kind of like Nazism and stuff.
Yes,
and you see that people get like obsessive, like almost like
cult-like.
Like, but they're all annoying. This time they're just annoying and like loud, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're all like similar to, like, I just felt, and my mom's one of them, okay, so I could talk about this.
Yeah.
My mom's like, she was like, Trump, he can do no wrong. I'm like, no, it's
he did wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care. Okay.
That's what really upsets me.
And that's what's really sad. It's like,
you can't.
And your mom's a Christian woman.
Yes.
A very Christian woman. And the fact that, like, I don't know. And here, my parents voted for Trump the first time around too, so I can't, And the thing is, like, and I was born and raised a Christian and stuff. I don't get it. How can you stand for a guy who doesn't go to? He's not a religious person. He even admits it himself. And secondly, he grabs women by the pussy and brags about it. And like, he said so many things and done things that are not Christian-like.
So Bill Clinton gets, he gets a blowjob in his Oval House. And then
he's not perfect yet. Democrats aren't perfect.
And,
so.
the girl wanted to do it, and then he gets kicked out of. I'm not saying any of these presidents are good.
Yeah. Everyone,
or bad or whatever.
Nobody's perfect. But
they put him on a pedestal. It's so weird. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like,
some people think Trump is God.
That really freaks me out. Like, we're becoming South Korea. I mean, North Korea.
Yeah.
Or
just idolizing a person.
You should never idolize.
No.
The person that should be in office is the person that
for the people.
Most doesn't want that.
Yeah. And
they just want to do the work.
For the people.
For the people.
Not for himself, for the ego, for the clout. It is for the people, and it's a people's, because the people wanted you to represent them. Yeah. So I just feel like, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but like, Trump is just all about himself, and
he's a poor loser.
Yes,
that just shows a lot. Okay, like, it's just simple. Okay, I'm not a sports person, but like, you see a lot of that person, how they lose. Yeah, like, are they gonna be a gentleman?
Are they gracious loser?
Yeah,
no.
gracious. Yeah,
no. He is clawing like it is like painful to watch. But it's like a train, like
tantrum.
It's like a temper tantrum. It's like a train crash. You're just watching it, and it's just slowly just crashing and burning. And you're like, this is just everybody who's on that Trump train, like, get off the train, because it is not good.
The people in the Trump, I mean, like, I'm not saying every one of them, but they share this same characteristic that they don't want to say sorry. They don't believe that they want to say sorry. If they don't want to admit that they've done anything wrong, they don't even admit, like, the other day I saw, like, Trump supporters, like, and it was like two old men with beer bellies, and they're like, pro-life. I'm like, you're not even a woman. Like, how would you even know? You can't say it because you never gone through the menstrual cycle like we do.
Yeah.
Which I got a story for you about that. but I'm just like, dude, like, you don't even have a woman's body. You don't go through everything we go through.
How can you make those decisions for a woman when you're not a woman yourself?
Yeah, if you start giving birth, okay, you get in on it, And
if you're so about, like, like, I don't know, if you're so against abortion, all these things, and women having a choice and stuff, like, why don't you help the population, like, the decision making, by, like, getting a vasectomy? Like, what? How does it feel like to have us decide for you? Oh, why don't you get a vasectomy so we can just make sure that we don't have these unwanted babies?
How would you like that?
And stop it at the source.
That's such a great.
Let's stop it at the source. Let's stop it. You contribute as well. And then the sad part is, they're pro-life until once the baby is out and about. Oh, but we don't want to support any. We don't want to take care of the poor people, though.
Yeah.
We don't want to raise our taxes.
Yeah.
We don't want to, help, with those kind of programs to assist the poor because, they're on their own now.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, so unborn child, like, it's all about, this, and then as soon as the child's born, you don't give a fuck?
They don't even have a chance.
You don't give a fuck about the child anymore once the child's actually born, so you're not really pro-life. You're just, I don't know. To me, it's just, you're having these white old men deciding women's bodies and their choices.
It's
and
just
it's
so
it's
odd.
really, really frightening.
But I'm not saying all white people are bad because
no, we're not saying that.
Because a lot of the people, because my husband, he's been in solitary confinement if he puts all the time, maybe almost close to a year of solitary confinement.
Oh wow!
Can you imagine that? Like you're in a room, the light doesn't go off and on.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
You don't talk to anybody 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like that without any comforts of home and stuff like that. But, as he was going through that, he also did have these certain, like, people in jail that weren't, of his descent. They were maybe, like, Italian or black or white, you know what I mean? So it's not like every white person is, like, bad,
No.
Well, we just want diversity. I think diversity is beautiful.
Yes. I think it tells you different perspectives, people's different viewpoints, and that to me, I feel like is America, is like, because we're so diverse in that sense. At least the majority of even the majority of the population is white, but like still it's becoming more and more mixed and diverse, and that's what makes America beautiful, is because we have all these different opinions and everything, and we can still coexist.
And it makes the country more complex and beautiful, you know what I mean? Bringing
absolutely.
all these different great benefits. Everyone brings something to the table.
All these different
if you
cultures.
just let them bring it to the table, like it just makes things so much more amazing.
Exactly.
It's just irritating when the people at the top they're all white and they can't recognize that.
Yeah, they don't recognize it and
or
they can't
open the door.
Exactly.
Hey, we would like you guys to come and not have to fight for your spot at the table. Why do you have to fight for your spot at the table?
Exactly. Everything, that's just how it is at the moment. And so, yeah, just having someone, our elected president, Joe Biden, just be so open. And in his speech, they say he's the first president to mention in his speech about transgender and about like just this inclusiveness in his speech, taking a shout out for Black women and the Black Americans who really pulled through for him. He's like one of the first presidents to really mention that in his in the first speech of being elected president. So I think he just sounds like he wants to unite Americans, and that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
that's all I ever wanted is to be united again,
including the annoying people.
Even people that don't agree. Like, it's okay if people disagree. It's okay if we can't agree on certain things. That's we have different perspective, different upbringings, and it's understandable. We're different people, but the fact is that we all live in America, which I think is a beautiful place to live. It's just, I don't want it to a point where we're killing each other over our beliefs. Like, we're actually want to kill each other because I believe something different from you. That's when it becomes violent and everything. And
it's crazy. It
really
gets to a point of killing. It's just so crazy to me. Like, there's so many people that can't even like kill an animal to eat, and then they're like killing people. That's so
I think
gnarly.
I totally understand people coming from different backgrounds, and I respect your opinion, but at the same time, if your opinion or beliefs impede on my freedom and all to the point of like to live, like it jeopardizes my life. My life is on the line. Of course I'm not going to agree with you. Of course I'm going to have to disagree with you on that because my life is on the line. So I get it. Like, I can only imagine being a Black American, just growing up and just being afraid for your life every day and have to go through go through scenarios in your head, like, okay, what would happen if I get pulled over, or this is what I have to do.
Do you ever watch Green Book?
Oh yes.
Holy cow!
It's again,
holy cow!
All these stories that you hear about, and you're just like, wow.
And we've experienced personally like racism
Of
as
course.
growing up,
Yeah.
but not as bad
To that degree.
to the point, to that bad. And
Oh
even
my
our
gosh.
ancestors, when if I'm saying like the Chinese and like the Asian Korean people that came here, they weren't allowed land. You weren't allowed to own land, even though you worked here and everyone's equal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you were lesser than a person.
Yeah,
Isn't it crazy? Like, I feel so lucky that we live in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm grateful that, like, I'm, so as somebody like, I live with bipolar disorder and I have a mental illness, and I am so lucky to be in this kind of stature, this little petite Asian woman, because I don't look to the eye. And in reality too, I don't look like I won't intimidate you. I won't.
You're very disarming.
Disarm me. So people are like, oh, like this person's not gonna hurt me. But imagine like being mentally ill, and if I was a black person, I would be treated completely differently.
Yeah,
and I still remember the first time I had a manic episode, and I ended up at an apartment. And I was banging on somebody's door. And of course I ended up banging on that person's door. I'm in a manic episode, so I'm not sure what I'm doing. And I'm thinking like just having this messiah complex. I'm thinking it's the end of the world. So I end up in these apartments and I bang on the door. And of course the person opens it and I'm like in this crazed mess. And they slam the door on me. They call the cops. And I think to that moment, like I always think back on that moment because I think, wow, those cops, when they came, they were, of course, like, go get on the ground, everything. I remember seeing the flashlights and everything. And of course, I get on the ground right away. I have a Bible in my hand. Like, it's like,
we both got arrested.
We both got arrested. Hey.
We're in that club too.
But luckily, because I'm in this petite Asian woman, they didn't really see me as a threat.
I didn't think about that.
Can you imagine if I was this black guy and I was having shot? I would have gotten shot.
You got shot.
I would have gotten probably shot and probably would not have survived to tell the story. Dude. But because of because of my stature, because of I'm this Asian woman, how I look, it really changes how people perceive you and like how it affects how people treat you. So I just can't imagine just growing up black in America and feeling unwanted and feeling like a threat all the time.
And your family's been here for help build this nation. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, just
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just a really sad reality.
Fucking shit.
So I'm just like, I'm lucky that I'm lucky to not have to have gone through that.
Yeah.
And so. It's
what a perspective.
Yeah. I always think about that, and that's what when I see homelessness on the streets, I always think about especially when they're mentally ill. I can tell they're talking to themselves and of color too.
Makes it.
I'm worse. Like, oh, man, like that easily could have been me. But I have the support. I have the family and friends. But I have the support. I have the financial support too. With my family helping me too. That. To pay these medical bills and have insurance and stuff like that to just afford the medication. There's so much to it. It's such a complicated situation, but homelessness, a lot of them have mental illness.
Yeah.
So it's just really sad that the reality is that
they're just like left on. They're like, oh,
I'll defend for
themselves. Kick to the side.
Yeah. So, that's.
I wonder what would happen if the government was like, hey, let's recover these people. Let's get them the right treatment, get them the right counselors. And I mean, they're like, what should we do with all this homelessness?
Yeah.
They're like, let's, how can we solve this? Right there, idiot.
Yes.
Get them the care, get them the right system. The people are there. The people, because I see these model model programs happening for homeless or the mentally ill, and how they're making them recover. Like they can't do a lot of people, but they do like maybe 50 or 60 people to help, and it's miraculous how these people recover
night and day,
and they're like, I can try to live again. Like I had that extra support, so like
it's
we should definitely I should get some of those names and like share it so people can donate to those people if possible. I'll get that next time.
Yeah, totally. We should
do that.
I would love to use this, our podcast to also share, like, because of myself having living with mental illness, it's just to use this as a platform to share about like different programs and just ways to donate and ways to help out. But
because it can happen to you,
it can happen to anyone that you love, yourself or anyone that you love. And I just want you guys to know, like, if you have a loved one is on the street and you're like, hey, I'm really trying my best, but they don't want the help. I get that too, but just don't lose hope. They just need someone to still love them.
Did you ever have a moment where like you were kind of there, kind of aware, and people are like, hey, like try to go to this doctor, and then you were resistant, but at the same time you didn't want them to stop trying? I think you had a moment like that?
I think when I am in my manic episode, I'm so detached from reality. It's really hard to understand that, like, people to understand that, like, this is my dad, or this is my sister that's talking to me right now. They just want what's best for me. It's hard to even to understand that where they're coming from, that their perspective. Even though I'm really good at empathy and everything when I'm not manic, when I'm manic, it's all about me. It's all about how I'm feeling. They just don't understand. They're jealous, or they're evil, or they're your mind doesn't I'm kind of grasping for that word. Your mind loses its sense of reality and
everything's coming after
reasoning. And there's no reasoning. There's no reasoning, and everyone, you get paranoid. And so you think everyone's after you. Even the medicine, like, you might think it's poison. You might think it's not medicine. You might think they're trying to poison you. And so, yeah, it's really scary when you're in that mindset to get help.
Yeah. Because you don't know who to trust. You can't reason.
Yeah. And like, speaking of like first times and everything, like my first time being in like an inpatient hospital.
That was probably frightening.
You would think, right? You would think it'd be frightening. At the moment when I first entered, I was a little, of course, scared, right? Because at that point, it was my first manic episode. My parents at that point, my family didn't know I was there.
They were freaking out.
They didn't know where I was.
They didn't know you were. Okay. So this was after you got arrested?
Yeah, after I got arrested, they sent me to the hospital.
Okay.
St. Joseph's Hospital.
Were they nice with you afterward?
They're so... even the police officers were sweet.
Oh, okay. So after they told you get down on the ground,
and they saw, and they talked to me, and they hear me talking, and they're like, they knew right away, like, okay, this is a 5150, which is the number, their call for, like, this person is unstable, and this person is having a psychotic breakdown, and this person needs to go to like an inpatient hospital. Yeah. So I just remember like just praying, and just remember like praying and just being like, why did I do that? Like all of a sudden, as soon as the cops came, I just realized, this realization of like, it all came to me like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like,
were you in the back of the car?
Yeah. I was
Those are uncomfortable seats, right?
Yes, they're uncomfortable.
They're so weird.
But
and plastic.
I just still remember like the wind on my face, like the windows were down, and I was just
Was it in the winter?
Yes, it was I believe it was right before the new year. I think it was December 31st or something like that. I forget what day it was, but it was like it was in December at night. And I just remember just in the cop car, and the cop is driving me to the hospital, and just entering the actual inpatient hospital for the first time, and just being afraid of like, my parents don't even know I'm here. I'm just in this place, and I feel kind of alone, but I have a bed at least. I at least had a bed, and I remember the person that took me in, the doctor or the nurse. He was checking me, and I was already in the gown at that point. And I remember him checking me for any bruises or anything, because
if you're hurting yourself,
hurting myself,
or someone hurting you,
or if the cops accidentally hurt me, like just to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
And he was just, I remember seeing like the kindness in his eyes.
Oh, that's
just
nice.
The kindness in his eyes, and just the warmth, and just being like, "Are you okay?" And like, do you have any, like, do you know if you have any bruises or anything from like, being basically alluding like you just got arrested, like, like, do you have any bruises? I'm like, no, I'm fine, like I feel fine and I feel okay. So I was kind of coming to, but at the same time, I'm still having this messiah complex of like,
so you're trying to save him while he's
in my mind, like the world is gonna end. In my mind, I'm like, I'm just.
Did you say any of this to him?
Oh, I'm sure I did. I can't remember exactly.
Like, do you believe in God? Because
no. I didn't say. I know. I had this very hopeful tone of like, I'm here to save you guys. like, and of course, like I'm in the inpatient hospital, so he's just like, yeah, sure you are. Like, you and everyone else in here, But he was just so sweet. I just remember him being
awesome.
I think his name is Jay. Too.
Older or younger? Or what?
Older. And he just had just really kind eyes.
That's
cool.
And
I just remember feeling like less afraid. And then but then finally I remember being able to make a phone call to my parents and letting them know that I'm at St. Joseph.
Do you remember that phone call?
I vaguely remember. I just remember trying to call, and the phone that I was using was like a shitty landline phone, and it was like the phone itself had a bad connection. So I just hear my dad just like Debbie, and it's like his voice was just so. I can remember hearing his voice was so scared.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad. He's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, and I just remember like the phone is kind of breaking up.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, I'm in, and it's like Saint. He's like, "What? What are you saying?" I'm like, St. Joseph's Hospital.
Oh my goodness.
And they didn't know where St. Joseph is.
Yeah.
And so they just knew.
In Anaheim, right? Or nearby Anaheim?
Yes, I think so. It's Anaheim.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, and then the phone just like clicked out. Like it just hung up. And then so I was like, I'm thinking the phone's not working. I'm freaking out. Like I don't even know how to, I can't even reason with myself like, Debbie, just give him a call back. On a different phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fine. But I'm just thinking, the phone ended. Like, the world's ending. I barely had the sanity to even tell them where I'm at. Like, I'm just like, I'm still in a manic episode. I'm still coming down and freaking out at the same time. I'm manic, but not, like, I'm sane,
Is this manic feeling good?
No, this time it's feeling bad. It's going down. I'm crashing.
Okay, you're crashing.
I'm crashing.
Okay, so she's not
I haven't slept for days at this point, and it's just bad. And so, but yeah, I still remember that first night and just praying and just hoping to God, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening, because in my crazy manic mind, I'm thinking the world's ending, but at the same time,
that's not a good feeling.
This logical whisper in my head is also telling me, like, Debbie, like, you're gonna be okay, you're fine, like, just calm down, like, so I'm fighting with these two these kind of, not really voices, but just like this feeling. And I just remember praying really hard and just like praying that, like, that I would survive this, that I would make it out of this darkness in my mind. And then sure enough, my family were able to locate me, and I think they visited me the next day. I tried to, but the hospital, right away when they saw that I was manic and haven't been getting sleep, they gave me medication to sleep. They're like, sleep. But I think at first I didn't want to take the medication. So in order to calm me down, they're like, sleep. I was gonna say put a shot in me, and they're like, sleep.
They give you some tranquilizers.
Because like I'm just manic. I can't reason. They can't reason with me. So they're just like, sleep.
And you're strong.
My god,
you have the strength. I was just like,
I don't realize how strong I am.
It was so crazy.
And I really feel bad about this, but during my hospital stay, I did trip a nurse.
Oh, you did?
I tripped a nurse.
Oh, Manic Debbie is such a bitch.
Manic Debbie is a
bitch.
I tripped a nurse, and it was because...
Wow, I didn't know you had it in you.
I tripped a nurse, and it was because I just wanted to... I thought I was fine. Like, 2 days later, I was like, oh, I'm good. I thought, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm here, but I'm calm now.
Yeah.
And I just want to go home. Yeah. So this is where one of the other nurses fucked up. They saw me, and I was at the door where visitors come and go, and it's like a locked door. Like, it locks automatically, and you have
2 doors.
Someone has to buzz
doors,
you in.
Right?
No, it's just one.
Just
door.
one door. Okay.
It's like within the hospital.
Okay.
So you're inside the hospital, and it's another wing, and there's a locked door, and you enter, and that's the inpatient hospital where I'm at. So I was like at the door to step into the actual hospital where everyone else is. I'm in the wing. I don't know what wing, but I'm in where the inpatient hospital side is. So I'm at the door. I'm like, and I guess visitors were coming in and out and stuff like that. So I'm there, and I guess maybe because I was acting so normal and calm, and so confidently. I was like, oh, I'm ready to go now. I'm done being here. Like, I'm ready to go now. And the nurse thought I was one of the visitors. Oh, okay. And so she buzzes me out.
Cunning.
I know. I was just calm. I really felt like, oh, and she let me out. So I was like, okay, cool. So I come out, and I'm actually in the rest of the hospital with, so I step out to the other part of the hospital, and I start walking down the hallway and thinking, like, I'm going home. I'm going to go to the front desk downstairs in the lobby and ask my mom and dad to pick me up, and I'm going home.
For what phone?
I was going to go to the front desk.
Oh, you're going to go
to
front
the
desk.
lobby.
Wow,
I was
super confident,
I'm
Debbie.
very confident.
So
but then
confident.
all of a sudden I'm walking down the hall, and I hear from the back, like from distance, she's not supposed to leave. She's not supposed to leave. What? And then I was like, what? And I turned back, like, it's like slow motion, and like one of this other nurse, she and 2 other people are like running towards me, and I'm like, what? And I start running away from them. Yeah. And they, of course, catch up to me.
How they take you down?
Oh, they're grabbing me. They're grabbing both my arm. Then one of the nurses like trying to pull me back, and I am screaming at the top of my lungs, like, somebody help me.
They're always asking you to help them over at the hospital. Someone always says, help me.
Yeah. So I'm like, someone's help me. Like, I'm like, help me. So I'm yelling and screaming.
Oh,
and then people,
you make them look so bad.
I do. It looks so bad.
So bad.
And then people other doctors, because I'm in the rest of the hospital.
Oh my God.
So there's other hospital rooms.
Yeah,
just, like,
St. Joseph is huge.
Yeah.
It's
so
huge.
they just like pop their head out, like, what's going on? Yeah. And they see me, this little Asian girl being like tugged back and stuff.
My God.
And so as one of the nurses like bringing me back, I'm a bitch. I put my leg under her leg, and I trip her. And I do it again. Bop, bop. And I do it again. No, and so but then
she wasn't old, was she?
No.
She was a younger one.
She was not super young, not super old either.
Okay,
she was
like
middle age.
45.
Yes.
Okay.
So she was fine, but then I'm like, I can't believe I tripped her, but hey, what's the great thing about that was, well, not so great, because I had, after I recovered and everything was great, a couple years later I had another manic episode. I ended up back at St. Joseph's Hospital, that same hospital. See the same lady.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, hey, and I stop her in the middle hallway, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm really sorry that I tripped you that last time.
Oh, that's nice.
And I apologize.
That's so nice. What did she say?
She's like, oh, like, she was kind of first at shock, but also kind of, I could tell you she probably, like, I think she was a little saddened to see me again at the hospital.
Yeah.
But she was also like, don't, like kind of like, you don't need to apologize.
Yeah.
Like,
she's like, I know what I get myself into.
Yeah.
I know where I work.
Yeah. So,
oh, that's so nice that you like remembered her and you said something.
I was like, hey,
because I'm sure she went home and she's like,
that
little lady girl tripped me today.
But then, I mean, I could see from her position, like, hey, they're just not in their right minds, and
you can go in the street. You can be taken, Debbie.
Yes.
You know, you could have easily, if you got to the wrong person, because
Yeah.
there's still abductions happening.
Yes.
There's still slavery still happening.
Yeah.
Can you believe
Yeah, sex trafficking, things like that.
Not even sex trafficking, like work like, you know,
Child trafficking.
they might think you're a child.
Yes,
Like...
they might be a child. I like to still think I'm young at heart.
No, definitely you're young at heart.
So yeah, that
Oh
that
my gosh.
Yeah, first time at the hospital. That was a little rough, but
Wow, I didn't
survived it.
I'm really shocked. Like, there's still things that shock, you know, me about the things you do. You know, like that's one of them and stuff. For sure. I was just like, Debbie, you tripped somebody?
I know.
Like...
I would never do. Like, if you know me, like, for me to do that, like, I would never do that as Debbie, you know, but as manic Debbie.
Oh my god.
That's a different story. It's
we
like
were saying like, it's I was like, is it like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde? And Debbie's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just have no patience for anybody's bullshit, and you just think you're right, and you're just like you're just a bitch. I'm a bitch when I'm manic. So
well, it's all chemicals, right? In the brain and stuff like that. And
it's chemicals. It's just not having enough sleep, being irritated, and it's just part of it.
I probably want to kill somebody if I didn't, like, you know, get sleep and I was up. I mean,
just irritable.
I do know the paranoia I felt, because remember I was like, I told you I was smoking meth a lot, and I would get that paranoid. That's why I stopped, because I would think like, the cops are after me.
Yeah.
Let's look in this hole for 5 hours. They're coming. They're definitely coming.
Yeah,
like, how is that fun anymore?
No, it's
like,
not.
That's not
it's
fun.
Not. No, it's definitely when the mania, the good part of the mania, starts to fade away, and it starts to become like just a full blown mania and just crashing.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
Ooh, it is. Yeah, it's rough. It is really rough, because it's hard to pick up the pieces afterwards. So yeah. But it survived it, and it's been a couple years now since my last like major episode. So, but even as I'm getting older, I feel like the episodes are shorter and shorter and not as severe.
Do you think because your hormones are changing, the chemistry in your body, because we're getting older and stuff?
I think also I'm just getting used to it.
Getting used to it, and you're catching it in the butt, right?
Yeah.
You're
I'm
like,
nope.
all right. Nope.
Been through this rodeo before.
Before it was like tempting, like, yes.
Give me
the power.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a new feeling, and you're like, oh, this feels great. This feels like every great drug in the world.
Oh
like,
my God.
You know, but now it's like
amazing.
Now it's like, okay, now I know where this is heading.
It's like, it's ruining my family's life, you know?
Yes,
in my
it's
life,
ruining my life.
know?
It's ruining my family's life. Like, this is getting a little too much.
You know what it kind of sounds like also? Like, if you were doing like a science fiction movie, or like, you know, those scary movies where like you get stuck in a different dimension and another version of you is in this dimension, and that version of you is like evil, but looks like you.
It totally, again, it really just to have your personality change like that. It really, again, I think I mentioned it before in the other podcast, it just makes you question your identity.
You're like,
who the fuck am I? I tripped a nurse?
Yeah.
I'm like, am I that vicious? Am I that, like, am I just that a bitch? And so, yeah, it really made me question a lot of my self-identity, and felt guilty, and my ego was destroyed, and my self-esteem, and everything. So, to this day, I'm still collecting myself. I'm still trying to, I forget the Japanese term, but where they say you pick up those broken pieces, and it's like a pottery with the gold in the cracks. It's really beautiful, but it's like, as painful as it is to pick up these pieces and put my life back together, I try to imagine just putting that gold lining in the cracks, and it makes the piece that much more beautiful, just to see these cracks, these golden cracks. So yeah, I
that's a powerful visualization right there.
Yeah, it's tough, but I'm I'm comfortable now talking about my mental illness and living with bipolar, but there's always that shame deep down inside that haven't gone through it. that I still hold on to.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more I talk about it, the less shame there is.
Yeah.
And there isn't nothing to be ashamed about having a mental illness. Like, it is what it is. Like, this is your life that you live with, the cards you've been dealt with, and you just have to learn to live with it and not let it define you to the point where you don't want to live anymore. You know, like that. And I've been in that mentality, but I'm like, no, I want to live. I think life is beautiful. I think it's amazing to be alive today and to have the friends and family like you guys in my life. And yeah, I don't know. And that's what I kind of also wanted to like brush upon, like also like love, you know, just just I've been single. I've been single for so long. It's just like, and I think a part of it is also just having this mental illness too. I'm afraid to love, like, and it's to admit that I'm afraid. It's
good. It's good at start.
It's good, but it's also like it's also for me to say it out loud. It's like it's really hard for me to admit that. You know, like, oh, I'm afraid. I'm not afraid of love. Like, I know it's cheesy and cliche as it sounds, but yeah, I totally am. You know, my friends would ask me like, "Oh, like, are you ready to date again, or would you date?" I'm like, I don't know. You know, it's tough. It's tough to be vulnerable and
hell yeah,
and to let that person know at some point. I'm gonna have to let them know, like, hey, by the way, I have bipolar. Like, you know, like, when do you bring that up in a conversation? Right? It's not the hottest topic to bring up. So I'm always worried about that. And I don't know. I hope someday I fall in love. I hope someday there's someone. I wish I could say there's someone out there for me. But I don't know. I really don't know at this point. But I think a part of it is just me learning to love myself.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. Like, every time I go through these manic episodes and these breakdowns and depression, it really takes a toll on my self-esteem and my love for myself. So I have to build that love for myself back up again. So it's like, how can I possibly expect someone to love me if I don't truly love myself?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so thankful for this podcast, because being able to share and connect with you, Liz, but also to connect with viewers and listeners, it's also just listening to myself say these things aloud also makes me remind me that I'm human. I'm not perfect, but that I deserve love.
Yeah.
I deserve to have love. I deserve to be loved, and I should love myself for my flaws and the ups and the downs. I should love myself for all of it, you know, because that's who I am, and that's okay. Like, I'm okay, bipolar and all, you know.
Say it, sister.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to love, to be vulnerable again, and to love some stranger and to let them into my life, and then only to afraid that they'll be so scared of my mania, or they'll be scared of my mental illness, that they will walk away. So that's always like a back of my mind.
Well, I feel like if they walk away, they ain't the right person.
That's true.
For you.
That's
you can
true.
say bye-bye, have a nice life, okay? Because that person's not for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I think because the way I grew up, you know, I didn't have a dad around, and I was, you know, mom was struggling a lot as a single parent and stuff, and I just remember not so good memories with my dad and stuff. So I had like, and I don't think I had, you know, like I was around, you know, like family, when there's family members, you just like taking them in, but like there's no like real connection, bond. You know what I mean? Like the kind of relationship you have with your dad.
Yeah.
That like true bond. Like, this is your family unit.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I didn't have a lot of that. You know, reassurance.
That foundation.
And stuff like that. So I was really starving for love. You know, like not only for friendship love, but like someone to just look at me and say like, you're special and I love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and nothing, there's no sexual thing about it. It's like an unconditional love.
Yeah, unconditional love. Like aside, I mean, sex is great, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I wanted someone to see me with adoration and I think that's why I was looking for love and attention in so many different places. And we see this. I'm not uncommon, okay? There's a lot of, like, girls that go the same thing, and so do guys, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But just to hear your perspective and to hear you say it, I don't know, it makes it makes sense, you know, like why you decided to do what you did and go through what you made, the choices that you made, because I think at the root of it all, you just want to be accepted, loved, you know, celebrated or whatever. I don't need to be celebrated, but you know what I mean? Just like someone just loves you for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at the time, you know, Joseph's love is more than enough now because I'm grown up. I understand. But at that point, like, you know, you're a kid. You don't know anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't even understand why you're doing the things you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you were never equipped, especially like first generation here. Like, definitely my mom didn't sit me down and like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about everything, you know? So there would be like anxiety. Like, no one in my family, we still don't say sorry to each other. It's very rare that we say sorry. I just noticed that yesterday. I had an epiphany. I was like, oh shit, my family doesn't say sorry to each other. We just buy each other stuff and never talk about it anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Think it's just the word sorry. I think it's hard for people to, even in general, for people to say.
It's crazy, but like, you just feel so much better after you say sorry.
Yes.
Just say, like, I fucked up. Sorry. You know? And it feels, you just have this like, the tension in your body. It just
a genuine apology is shows a lot of strength.
Yeah. It sucks at first.
But it shows a lot of strength and a lot of maturity.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't like fake apologies, though.
I'm
sorry, but...
Yeah.
Don't give me that. If you're going to give me a but apology, don't give me an apology at all. That's not an apology. Don't even try.
Yeah.
So, I respect people who are able to be like, I'm sorry. I had no idea that my actions made you feel that way, and the fact that it did, I am sorry. That was not my intention. Yeah, that's, to me, that shows a lot of maturity and growth. But when people can't say sorry and it's just our ego. They're just trying to preserve their ego and their pride.
And you know what? Like, I believe that everyone can reach a depth into themselves. Like, not just be on the surface. I feel like everyone has this potential. But people like that, they're just not ready to go down deeper. And sometimes they probably might not in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is kind of sad.
It does suck because, like, there's these different hard parts to get through. But once you get through those hard parts together, you're so much stronger.
The relationship is so much stronger.
Yeah, and it's so much more beautiful. And I don't know. I always feel like after you're going through, like, a difficult, like, conversation or something like that, it's just... It like, I feel like I reached a new level. Like in a game, like you just unlocked something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh shit, life is so much more enjoyable now.
I think it's to be able to apologize, to be able to put yourself in that other person's shoes and be empathetic and and it not only shows a level of maturity, but it helps the relationship grow. But it just, I think just overall, just, I don't know, it strengthens the relationship. It really does. It really strengthens the relationship. And again, I am all for it.
Yeah. That's why I strictly I tell my brother, because I feel like my younger brother is the only person in my family that can truly like influence, but not like take advantage of his life. I just said, bro, like if bro, like you gotta tell me everything. Like just whatever, if it has to deal with like any topic, like there's no embarrassing topic for us. And
the fact that you say that though, I think is so awesome. The fact that you say like, hey, like you can really tell me anything. Like I'm your sister.
Anything. Like you rob somebody, like tell me.
You're saying I'm not gonna judge you. Yeah. I'm not here to judge you. Yeah. I'm here to be here for you. Be your listening ear. Some people, when they're going through something, sometimes they're not expecting for answers. They're not expecting for you to give them a solution. But they just want someone to talk to.
Yeah.
To listen.
Yeah. I think it's because I've had so many times where my family, I couldn't talk to them about anything.
Yeah.
Like, you never know when you're gonna get like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't say that. Don't act like that. Don't do that.
Don't do this.
Don't dress that like that. You know, like that, to the point where it kind of drove me to the point where like, fuck you. Like, I was like, fuck you. I'm gonna go and do whatever the fuck I want. Okay,
Yeah.
like
unapologetically.
yeah.
Doing what you're doing, whether they approve of it or not.
Yeah.
It's not about their approval.
Yeah.
It's about just living your life and not having to hear them.
Yeah.
Just crush you.
Yeah, just the craziest shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm gonna be a stripper. I'm gonna be a cam girl. Fuck you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, because I was, you know, suppressed, oppressed for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, parents, if you're like listening to this and you're like, oh, my kid's going crazy, it's because you oppressed them way too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just like popped the top off. They're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's just to have no self-expression, and anytime you do express yourself, you get put down.
And for not even anything bad.
Yeah.
It's like little things. It's just like I would invite everyone to dinner and I would pay for them, and then my Suncha Imo, the older auntie, she painted her nails like, you know, like one color different. So I was like, oh, Imo, that's cool. Like, and my other aunt that I thought that I was like mocking her, but I was truly being like, oh, that's cool. You know, you're doing like a new style, and I want to start conversation.
Yeah.
And she just like she like looked at me and she's like, and I was like,
Ew.
I was just asking her about
Oh
her
my
fingernails.
gosh, I just can't. Just
Yeah.
it's
But
just-
she's very careful, because it was very shocking. They asked me to come over. My uncle asked me to come over, and it's always weird when I go over there. Like, of course, Uncle Tony tries to act like normal and stuff, and he's always like trying to be nice. They don't even realize like why our relationship is the way it is. But like, I could tell now, like, Casey, when she's like very careful. I hate living like this. But like, it's the only way I can protect myself currently.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't say much, and I don't like have, you know, I just stay my distance away from them, and I don't ask a lot of questions. Before, I used to love asking questions like, hey, how are you? How's the kids? You know, how's David and everything? And it's like they shunned me so many times. Like you said, I'm afraid to love.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to love them that way with like my family. As much as I want to like call them up and be like, hey, what are you doing? You know, like,
you just been burned so many times.
so
It's
many times.
traumatized you.
Yeah,
It really has affected your relationship with them.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.
But it's funny because like I was in the living room with my aunt. She had some things that she wanted to sell. I was asking, and then the garage is kind of open. That's where my uncle's workshop is, and him, Joseph, my husband, and my uncle Tony is in the garage talking, and I just like, you know, I just want to leave the house as quick as possible, and I look underneath the garage door.
Yeah.
And my uncle's like giving him half of like a Ziploc bag full of weed. And then Joseph's like,
wait, who's giving who weed?
my uncle.
Your uncle is giving.
Yeah, because his brother-in-law lives in Northern California, and they live like, you know, in Growers area nearby San Francisco, Sonoma.
Okay, yeah.
So like, he does like trimming and stuff like that.
Tony's down with that?
Yeah, now he is.
Damn, things have changed.
Yeah, and you know, there's so many times where he comes and he's like, oh, you know, like, you guys come over and we'll like hang out, we'll smoke some and stuff like that.
Wow.
But like, I want to so bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I've been hurt so much. I feel like some resentment might come out, and like, I don't want to go through that when I'm like getting high with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like very non-surface type of person, you know. I go deep, like
Yeah.
even when we're just talking like funny stuff, like I need to feel like that other person is gonna be okay with what I say.
Yes.
And that we have a trust.
There's
built.
trust.
Yeah,
There's a trust
you know
and a
what I
level
mean?
of respect.
Because you're vulnerable when you smoke out.
Oh yeah,
you
totally.
know, like
totally.
kids can go in parties and stuff, but like me and you, we're like, I don't know, sensitive to things. So like even smoking even makes you more sensitive. So I'm just like, as much as I want to go and talk to my uncle and like joke around like we used to and stuff, it's just like, it's like almost like feeling like you're going into the past when you go and see them.
You feel like that little girl again that just
Yes.
hasn't been
like I'm like nothing again.
Yeah.
It's just it's so weird.
It's not weird. It's that's how you were brought up, and that's the life that that you're raised in, and you're still scarred by it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. It's not as easy as like smoking weed and it all goes away.
Yeah, I don't have one of those families. I have one of those families, if you look from the outside, they're like, oh yeah, your family's so cool. But then when you're really in it, you're like, wow, this is really passive aggressive, microaggressions, and like just there's a hierarchy too that has to play around with like money and all that stuff, which is very odd. So I don't have one of those families like, my family's so awesome. I love hanging out with them. I can't wait to go and like have holidays with them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I appreciate for who I am because I can connect with people that do go through that same shit and be like, hey, like they might treat you that way, but like keep moving forward because you can do something. I believe that I can do something.
Yeah.
Like I'm a creative individual and I'm owning up to it without anyone's support. You know, other than like great friends, you know, just to say here. But like, you know, family, you know, it's important to have family support.
Yes.
But you can also do it and be a good person without that family support.
Yes.
You know, you really, in the end, you got to really believe in yourself first to make anything happen.
Absolutely.
This is like your foundation for sure. So.
Yeah. And the people who truly love you and respect you will be there for you and everything. And anyone who causes toxicness and makes it your life stressful, you do have to draw those boundaries, and even if it's your family.
It's a mind fuck because I want to go hang out with them, and then they're all being nice and stuff, and then you're just like, fuck, I'm a fucking terrible person. But then when you get hurt again, it's like that cycle, that manic cycle. It's like, oh, it feels so good, and then you get in that trap, and then you're like, fuck, I have to pick up myself up all over again.
Disappointment. You're like, you have this hope, and all of a sudden you're like,
maybe I'll be
shame
different.
on me. Shame on me this time.
Yeah.
Like, shame on you the first time, but the second, third, fifth time you trick me into thinking it's all good, and then you disappoint me. That's on me.
Yeah.
Because I been burned so many times, and yet I didn't think I was gonna get burned again. And here we are. Why go through that? You know, like stop yourself from. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. Well, we are actually.
Holy crap.
Wow. It's amazing how much time just goes by so quickly when we're talking. But I just want to say, this shirt's really awesome. Guess who designed this?
You look great in it.
Liz did. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah.
So
nice of Debbie to support.
No, I love it, and if you guys want it, it's at Teespring.
And we can put the link in the below.
Palo Santo is there.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, you guys can follow us at palo.santo.streetwear, but I'll add all that stuff
in the description.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the description.
I got a lot of different designs. I think I'm gonna buy some too to like show on here. But yeah, maybe we can do a giveaway one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. It's comfortable, right?
It's comfortable. I love it.
And this is just the unisex.
This is a unisex shirt. So
okay.
This is great.
There's like sweaters and there's long sleeve. I think there's long sleeve. I don't know. I would have to go back to it. But go check it out.
It's
appreciate it.
So yeah, you guys, again, we thank you so much for tuning in and for listening and everything. Our episode 5. And again, if you have any questions or anything, you know where to hit us up. It's at Gmail, mooncakes.podcast at gmail.com. We're on Instagram at mooncakes.podcast. And if you have any questions or anything, please send that our way. Any comments, let us know. And we'd love to connect with you guys. And thank you so much. And
oh yeah, shout out to my younger brother Josh, and shout out to Debbie's sister Donna.
oh yeah, shout out.
They might be listening.
Oh, they might be
Hey
listening.
guys.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you. We'll see you when we see
Yeah,
you.
love you guys too for listening.
Bye.
Bye.